Hello everyone, I'm Zach, and I'm going to help teach you how to perform some basic edits using Adobe Lightroom. Alright, so first you can see that we have here our before and after image. Over here on the right you can see that our image is brighter, it's more exposed, and it's got pretty good contrast without it being too harsh around people's faces. You also might notice that there's a slight desaturation here in the reds on the faces. So what we will do is we will go ahead and jump into this so you can start learning. So first, with every photo, I like to come down and go down to the lens correction. So you can see this box right here on the right hand panel. It's enable profile corrections. We'll just tick that and it'll automatically correct the image. If you toggle it back on and off, you can see the difference that it makes. So there's a slight difference in the distortion of the image, as well as the vignette that you'll notice possibly around the edges. You'll notice it most here in this photo in this bottom right corner. So since it's a little overexposed for my personal liking, I'm going to knock it down a little bit using this slider over here on the right. And we're going to knock it down to about 78 or so. So that's good there. And now we'll go back up to the top. With this photo, the white balance is actually pretty good from the get-go. It's not too warm, so it's not too orangish, and it's not too cool, so it's not too blue as well. And there's a lot of blues in this photo, so that's a good thing. And the tint, it's not too much on the green side or too much on the purple side, so we'll just leave that alone as well. But first, what I will do is adjust the exposure. And with this, we want it to be a little brighter because we don't want any harsh shadows on our subject in the photo. So we're going to knock it to, we're going to go a little on the overexposed side, the brighter side, and go to positive 30. And next, I like to jump all the way down to the shadows here, and I like to bump it up a little bit past where I think it would, where they should be. So we'll do about 50. We'll do about 60. That should be good there. And next, I like to go down to the blacks. Using the blacks, you can add more contrast back into the photo that you just took out using your shadows. And you can control it a little bit more precisely using the blacks. So we'll just tone them back down. We'll take that down to about 15, and we'll just leave it there. What you're looking for is you want to bring back in some detail on the absolute darkest parts. So you might see some back in here in her dark hair. And next, we're going to up the whites a little bit. In the whites, you'll notice more of the detail being adjusted here in the whitest portions of the photos. So we'll just go back over to that slider and adjust that. We're going to adjust that just beyond the point of like overexposure to where it looks just a little too bright maybe. So you might lose some detail in the bright spots. We'll back out. And now we'll bring some of that back down using our highlight slider. We'll adjust that down to about negative 22. That should work. What you're going to look for, like I mentioned, is your bright spots. You just want enough detail in there to see there's something going on, especially whenever you have patterns like this in clothing. Alright, I don't like to adjust the clarity in portrait photos because it's easy to get carried away with it. If you go too high, you start to put a lot of contrast and a kind of a bizarre, surrealistic look on the image. See, right there at 100, it's just way too much. And I just like to leave it alone. But we will adjust the vibrance a little bit. That'll bring the colors in a little bit. That'll just give them a little more pop. I'll do to about 10 there. And I'm not going to adjust saturation because I think in this photo the saturation is pretty good, but we will adjust it down below later, slightly, in the reds at least, because in the reds you can see skin tones are a little too much here, and even on her a little bit too. So next we'll look at contrast. And I think a lot of times with contrast things can get a little out of hand too. Usually a lot of times I don't like to mess with it too much because in a way it kind of takes away from what we did down here. So we're just going to kind of leave it, you know, as close to 0 as possible. So we'll just scroll down, and here you can see our saturation adjustment channels. And I'm just going to knock the red down just a little bit because we want to kind of tone that skin tone back down, even though we overdid it a little bit earlier. So we'll just kind of look there and compare. This skin tone is a little more red, and so is his. So that's definitely looking more tolerable. Even his a little bit too is a little red. But I think we are good here. So that's all the time that we have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.